ask you sort of, what do you think about this notion as he takes on Israel Adesanya that he was kind of lucky to get this title shot, at this point of his career? What do you think about the build-up so far between those two guys? We're seeing backflips at press conferences. There's an interesting energy between the two guys.
Yeah. I'll say this. Lucky, no. There's no such thing as luck. That man's put in a lot of hard work over the years, and between me and you guys, I know I'm in Australia, so I can't really say it's too loud.
Whatever you want.
It's too loud, but I'll give Yoel one of the two Robert Whittaker fights. I'm a little biased, maybe both, but one of the two Robert Whittaker fights. The Paulo Costa fight, if he's a champion, did Paulo Costa do enough to win that fight? I don't believe so. Looking at it from that point of view, he is the scariest man. Izzy has, big balls, I like to say, for calling him out and saying that. But when you say the boogeyman's name, or whatever Candyman name 3 times in the mirror, he tends to show up. So good luck with that. We'll see how that works. The dynamic between the two of them, to me, is awesome. I'd watch those two. I'd probably pay for the press conferences. Maybe they just do dance offs and shit like that. Athletic ability, because they're both phenomenal athletes. They're stud athletes, and I think we're all in for, as fans, we are gonna get a treat of a show come March 7th. That's gonna be a beautiful pay-per-view.
I think the fascinating thing with Yoel is he's just such a big guy, obviously so athletic, but also friends with Jon Jones.
Yes.
So it doesn't look like he'll be going up to light heavyweight at any point. But do you believe if Jon wasn't in that division, if he moves up to heavyweight and that sort of spot gets cleared out, sort of similar to a Cain Velasquez, aka situation with Daniel Cormier, do you believe we may see Yoel even make a run in that division if he does become champion of middleweight? If
Jon moves up to heavyweight, I can 100% say that I do see Yoel possibly going up to 100% possibly going up to light heavyweight. I would think he would fare very well there. He trains with bigger guys now. He does very well against them. 185 though is his home. He likes being there, and he makes the weight. Given time, given the circumstances, he always makes weight. He's missed weight. I want to say one time the situation in Chicago was the commission, was not him. 0.1 or point whatever off weight is just embarrassing on their end, not so much on his. So the man makes weight. He loves 185, but if Jon goes up, 205 is an absolute possibility. And I mean, I'd say 90% possibility that he goes up and challenges there for the light heavyweight belt. Yeah.
Just on Jon Jones, got to ask, UFC 247 just this past weekend. How did you score that fight? Do you think Jon Jones did enough to win that fight?
Live, I was sitting front row. Right after the fight, I looked right at Jon. Jon looked at me and I said, 3-2, you got this. Just like that. Me and one of the other UFC officials that were there, he actually had it scored 4-1, and I was leaning towards 4-1 as well. Go back and watch the fight, no sound. I told this to Jon after the fight, as well as a lot of the media members as well. I said, do you guys remember Gus Jon 1? A lot of people thought he lost that fight. Go back and watch the fight. Go back and watch the fight. It ended up being 4-1. It's the same exact scorecards all over again. We tend to look at Jon, and when he doesn't finish a guy, we say he lost, or he was close to losing, or whatnot, which is just absurd when you think about it. Anthony Smith was never close to winning outside of the kick where he decided not to take it. Outside of that, we can go to Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos is still out to this day. One of the matchmakers told me a long time ago, whenever you're in a close fight, who would you rather be? At the end of that, who would you rather be? We saw Dominick carried out of the arena. He wasn't able to walk in his own accord. Jon had a couple of bumps and bruises too. I'm not saying it was an easy fight. By no means was it an easy fight, but it's like he was in a regular practice, for that matter. I'd love to see a rematch. Jon's great at rematches.
Was that what you?
No, I just said it's my own brand. No one's saying anything about any of that. I just said, a rematch, and the reason why I bring up the rematch is just because Jon's always dominated in every rematch he's ever been in. He's ended up finishing both guys he ever rematched. So what makes us think Dominick is any different?
What do you think is more likely, the immediate rematch like some people are calling for, or Jon moving on to the next challenger, whether it be a light heavyweight, say Corey Anderson, or even moving up to heavyweight?
Whatever it is, that's going to be up to Jon. Jon will make up his mind either way. However way it goes, he'll make up his mind and he'll say, okay, this is what I want next. And he typically does what the fans want him to do. I don't think Jon's ever shied away from a fight. I don't know, you guys know Jon for the last 10 years, ever say, I don't want to fight this guy?
He's a man that's fought Daniel Cormier twice.
Think about that for a second. He fought Daniel Cormier, and the current heavyweight champion right now doesn't look like he wants to fight him, for a third time. But, it is what it is. The guy himself takes on every challenge, and he looks at it as a challenge that he needs to overcome, and he does every single time. So I'm confident if that's the fight on the table, that Jon signs. He doesn't say no. Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people talking about Jon Jones and Israel Adesanya. He's got to get past Yoel Romero first, and then go through quite a few people. But what do you think these guys? Why do you think people are so pumped to see these guys fight each other? Why do you think this is a fight that people just can't stop talking about and thinking about, even though it's possibly a year, possibly 2 years down the track, depending on what's happening with Jon? And what do you think about Israel saying that, hey, if Jon goes up to heavyweight, I'm going up there and I'm getting that fight. I'm going to fight him. Whether he's at heavyweight, at light heavyweight, wherever he is, I'm going up. I'm chasing him down. I'm getting that fight.
I'd say Izzy's probably a little nuts just for calling out Yoel. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm not going to get into the Jon Jones Izzy thing because I don't think it's I come from a real estate background. In the real estate world, whenever, you get excited and you have a deal, one of my mentors used to tell me all the time, it's a mind deal. And I was like, what does that mean? What do you mean it's a mind deal? It's only a deal in your mind. It's not a deal anywhere else. So, in this case, I would say it's a mind deal. There's no deal anywhere. It really doesn't.
It's never been discussed with you guys, never mentioned by the UFC. Dana White never brought it out.
Let's be real. Dana comes out and says, I want Izzy to fight Jon. He's doing Izzy a disservice. It'll never happen. It would have to happen when Izzy is really pushing, I really want to fight Jon. So I don't think, I just don't think it's a fight that's, realistic and anytime soon at all. So, talking about it is almost, it's just in our minds.